And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mandani, right? Okay, who's like a straight up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
Bill Maher just went off on Zohran Mamdani, and the whole thing is pure gold. The late-night provocateur ripped into the New York lawmakers' over-the-top progressive agenda, joking that his win could have been a free campaign ad for Republicans. Maher didn't hold back. His takedown was sharp, funny, and completely brutal. Blink for a second and you'll miss the chaos. Seriously grab your popcorn for this one. So, who's the left's favorite politician now?
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's Bernie is
Bernie, yeah.
Bernie is, I mean, he's not a capitalist,
No, he's not. And he's also not president.
But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will, trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
But they're going to feature people, they boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
Bill Maher's not wrong. The GOP doesn't have to invent a scary version of Zohran Mamdani. He does that himself every time he opens his mouth. With Mamdani gaining traction for a New York mayoral bid, critics warn his success could hand Republicans a political jackpot. It's like a neon sign flashing, "Democrats are living in Fantasyland." Mamdani insists he's just a democratic socialist, but that reassurance only works inside his own echo chamber. And Maher, he's not buying it. To him, Mamdani represents that dreamy, idealistic leftism that sounds noble but gives conservatives the easiest talking point of their lives.
This must be horrible for a guy like you, who you spent your whole life talking about how government tries to do too much, which it does, and spends too much. And here you have Trump, who is the Republican, who is aggrandizing more power than anybody, as we just talked about. And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mandani, right? Okay, who's like a straight up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Yeah.
At first glance, Mamdani's pitch shines like a utopian fantasy full of warmth, hope, and applause lines made for magazine covers. But scratch the surface and the dream starts to darken. Sure, idealists might swoon, but to anyone who's seen socialist experiments crumble before, it feels like déjà vu, the same failed ideas repackaged as progress.
I think every 20 years or so.
Wait.
We need every 20 years or so, we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again. Socialist slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, trust us, this time it won't be a mess.
History's shown that socialist projects crash so often, people treat the ideology like a stove they've already burned their hand on. The exception? The younger generation easily dazzled by words like fairness and free for all. The problem isn't greed, it's human nature. People thrive on challenge, reward, and the drive to create. Take that away and everything slows down. Bureaucracy takes over, motivation dies, and innovation flatlines. A system built for equality soon rots into waste and resentment. When the government tries to run everything, it eventually breaks under its own weight. Mamdani's big government promises might sound compassionate, but in the real world, they collapse under reality. The result? Everyone ends up equally disappointed.
When the post-war Labour government in Britain was about to get started, one of their leading lights was a socialist named Nurian Bevan. He said, what could go wrong? He said, we have a nation bedded on coal, surrounded by fish. It would take an organizational genius to have a shortage of either. In 3 years, they had a shortage of both.
Ask Britain. In the early 1900s, the UK dove headfirst into socialism, promising fairness and shared prosperity for all. It sounded visionary until it wasn't. Nationalized industries drowned in red tape, production tanked, prices soared, and the country's economy flatlined. That dream of equality dragged everyone down instead of lifting anyone up. By the 1970s, Britain had earned the gloomy nickname, the sick man of Europe. It wasn't until Thatcher rolled out market reforms that the country finally began clawing its way back to life. Recording number 6 Maher sees Zohran Mamdani as a political trapdoor for Democrats, one that could drop the party straight out of the mainstream. When Democrats veer too far left, They lose the moderate voters who actually decide elections. Remember, many Americans voted for Trump as a backlash against progressive overreach, including hot-button issues like youth gender care. But Mamdani's ready to jump right back into that fire. Critics say he's fundraising for policies tied to those debates, doubling down on one of the most divisive topics in the country. To moderate Democrats, his plan isn't bold, it's self-destructive. It hands Republicans the narrative that the left has lost touch with reality and the everyday voter.
Beyond saying that we're going to make a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus New Yorkers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work.
Let's be honest, Trump doesn't need to paint Mamdani as a radical. Mamdani does it for him. He's proposed government-run grocery stores and free citywide transit basically, a state-controlled version of daily life. And while he calls himself a democratic socialist, his rhetoric sounds like something straight out of the far-left playbook. Noble intentions or not, that kind of platform just reinforces the fear that Democrats are sliding toward full-blown socialism. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you know the rest.
He has attacked you personally and publicly like this.
He's not a socialist. He's a communist, okay? This is not a socialist, man. This is a communist.
I don't like to see a communist become mayor, I will tell you that.
I call him my little communist. He's my little communist mayor. We should never be in a position where we're talking about a communist.
We're going to end up with a communist mayor. It's not even believable, my beautiful New York. I think if a communist takes over New York City, I think that's a gift to the Republican Party.
A little closer, and you'll see Mamdani's message isn't new. It's a remix of old political slogans dressed in modern flair. Promises of fairness, equality, and shared prosperity, all packaged in emotional language and cherry-picked data. It's the same story history's told before. Once the applause fades and the policies land, achievement stalls and enterprise suffocates. That's not what New York or America needs. This country was built on freedom, innovation, and ambition, not top-down control. Every time someone bets against that formula, the outcome's the same. And Maher, beneath the sarcasm, knows exactly how that story ends.
This vision of democratic socialism, it's one that often comes back to what Martin Luther King said decades ago. A vision of, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism, there must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. Here in New York City, wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, 1 in 4 are in poverty. 500,000 kids go to sleep hungry every night. It's untenable to live with this kind of a divide. We have to actually have a politics that puts working people first.
It's the same old playbook craft emotional stories that tug at hearts and build quick support. It's politics 101. For Democrats fluent in identity-driven storytelling, Zohran Mamdani is a dream candidate. Symbolic, emotional, and easy to market as a moral crusader. The machine will celebrate him as a champion of compassion. But those who look past the glow see a different picture. They're not fooled by poetic speeches or soft focus campaigns. They know that great storytelling isn't the same as great leadership. Mamdani's narrative might impress idealists, but to realists, it's theater elegant, moving, but empty where it matters most.
Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Well, it wasn't so much his aunt as his dad's cousin, but, semantics. Douglas, is he ready to lead?
No, in absolutely no way is he ready to lead, and that was just another reminder of it. This is such a self-involved little narcissist with so little going for him.
That glossy origin story around Zohran Mamdani doesn't shine as bright under scrutiny. But in deep blue New York, loyalty often beats logic. He looks set to win not because his plan works, but because his story sells. The real question isn't if he wins, it's what happens when campaign slogans meet the chaos of actually running New York City. Speeches are easy. Leadership isn't. Watching Mamdani face reality will be fascinating. His rise isn't a triumph of progress, it's a warning sign. Behind the polished promises lies a philosophy history's rejected time and again. Maher's alarm bells are ringing for a reason. If Mamdani leads New York down that road, the fallout won't stop at City Hall. It could reshape the entire Democratic brand. And that's a wrap on today's breakdown. If this hit the mark, tap like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more. Appreciate you watching. See you next time.